Welcome back. We are on topic number 17. Again, at any point, if you need to move forward to a different topic, just feel free to scroll ahead. And there will be hopefully some links to just jumping to the topics that you need. So maybe you won't even have to hear this. But yeah, we're going to start with topic 17, which is writing a one-step expression for a real-world situation. These are all going to be word problems in this video, and we're going to be setting them up. Some of them start off pretty basic, and then we're going to get maybe a little bit more difficult, but not too difficult on these. So it says last year there were 247 pies baked for the bake sale. This year there were B number of pies baked. Using B, write an expression for the total number of pies baked in the 2 years. So obviously we started with the 247 pies, and we added on B pies. This would be the number of pies baked in the 2 years. Now it says expression, meaning we're not going to have an equal sign. That's the difference between an expression and an equation. For an expression, we will just have this for our final answer. So that one obviously pretty basic. We're just adding a number with a variable. Number 18, topic number 18. So same idea here. We're going to translate this into, this time though, an equation. So we're going to have an equal sign in this. Now it says the sum of 19, I know sum means addition, so the sum of 19 and Raj's score is 59. We don't know his score, so we are going to just give it a variable. We'll go with n this time. Oh, nope, I'm sorry, I didn't read. They want r. We got to be careful with that. Even if you're doing this on Alex, they're going to want you to use the variable r, so we got to read the directions. So r is his score. The sum of those two equals 59. So that is your final answer for number 18. Moving on to topic number 19 now. Topic number 19 says translating a sentence into a multi-step equation. So again, we want an equation. It's going to be multi-step this time. So it says the sum of 7 times a number and 8 is 6. So when we say the sum of 7 times a number, if I'm breaking this apart, I'm going to basically be trying to build this first. The sum of 7 times a number. The sum of 7 times a number. So 7 times a number, we don't know the number yet, it's C, so let's use C. The sum of 7 times a number means we're going to add that 7C to something else. What are we adding it to? We're adding it to that 8. Is always a good identifier for the equal sign, and we would put the 6 there at the end. So again, I just want to read this for you one more time. The sum of 7 times a number, so sum means addition, so we're adding these two things together. The first thing we're adding is that 7 times a number. The second thing we're adding is that 8. And there's your final answer for topic 19. Moving on to topic 20. Solving a word problem with two unknowns using a linear equation. A garden table and a bench cost this much money combined. The garden table costs $77 less than a bench. What is the cost of the bench? Okay, so this one's actually kind of tricky. We know that two things are going to be added together here, and they're going to equal $573. I'm not going to put the dollar sign in there right now, but we know that two things added together will equal that. So here's how I think about it. The garden table costs $77 less than the bench. If I was writing that maybe up in the corner here, maybe up here somewhere, if I was writing it costs $77 less than the bench, I would write that like this. Here's your bench price, and this is $77 left. Now this is just one of the things that I'm going to include into my equation down here. So we'll say the bench costs B as like a variable, and then the garden table costs $77 less than the bench. So I would add on the bench's price again minus that $77. So this part right here is basically the garden table's cost. The garden table costs the same thing as the bench except $77 less. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so then it's just a solving for a variable equation. So we're going to do 2b minus 77 equals 573. And at this point, I will let you guys finish up this problem because it's just solving for b at that point. Once you get b, b is the cost of the bench. So that would be your final answer. All right, I think we've got one more problem to do here. Problem number 21. Frank rented a truck for one day. There was a base fee of $19.99 and there was an additional charge of 83 cents for each mile driven. Frank had to pay $151.96 when he returned the truck. How many miles did he drive the truck? Okay, so he only drove it for one day. So that base fee was $19.99. That's something that I already know that I'm going to have to add on to my equation at the end. So I'm going to just do that right away. That $19.99. That's not something that's going to be attached to a variable because it's a one-time base fee. There's no worries there. And then there's an additional charge of 83 cents for each mile driven. So that's the one that's going to be kind of a recurring cost. That's going to be something that's going to come back over and over and over again. Now, I don't see a decimal in front of that 0.83, but you have to assume that there is one when we're talking about cents. So I would put 0.83 in my equation. For each mile driven, maybe I'll put an M for miles. And then the total he had to pay was $151.96. I'm probably not going to go through this one for you either, but you could just go through and solve for M at this point. Again, you're going to have to subtract that $19.99 from both sides. And then when you're done with that, you're going to have to divide both sides by that 0.83 to get M by itself to figure out how many miles he drove the truck. So that's a good place to get started for you. I want you to finish that up. And that's it for topic number 21.